Society in University of Ruhuna Student Branch. According to the word of vision, it is well known and proven that when leaders demonstrate commitment to the society safety, the safety culture within an organization improves. This saying explicates well how the safety is important to a leader. As an industrial person, what is the value of safety and how does it help to rise the quality of certain industry? As a leader, how can industrial person ensure the presence of safety guidelines regarding the certain industry followed by the industry community? Today, we are going to have a topic on how to be a good leader in safe industrial environment. To discuss this topic, today we are joined our guest speaker, Dr. P. Rohitha Rathnaweera. He is currently the Managing Director of GISST Private Limited. Dear sir, you are warmly welcome to this session. So I would like to know, as an industrial person, how the safety guidelines are important, and could you please explain us what are the common good practices with industry-related person should follow? It's over to you, sir.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, lovely. Right, good morning. And I'm talking to you from a very indifferent location, right? Maybe my dress also not looking very attractive to you all. But as I told from the day one when I was engaged, my schedules are extremely busy. I am talking to you all from a site. This is a dialogue communication tower at Tudalla. I am here to conduct a training program for dialogue technicians on tower climbing and rescue, right? So while the training program is going on only, I am here talking to you all, right? So you may have to understand little bit of difficult situations here. The signal is very poor. I don't have electricity. I am talking to you. I will just rotate my laptop. Oh, sorry, you can, my background is being taken off. I am talking to you from the backside of the boot of my car. My laptop is placed on my kit bag and I'm talking to you as it is, right? So actually, this itself should be a little bit of a lesson for you people, right? Okay, now I'm coming to, sorry, my dear, I can't share my screen. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Could you please give me the sharing rights?
So it is available, sir. So now you can share the screen.
Right? Right, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, lovely. Right, now actually, my apologies, I changed the topic a bit, right? So maybe it is not the very same topic that you all introduced. So I changed it, how to be a leader in industrial safety transformation. Now I picked this word with a very big purpose, right? Purpose you all will understand towards the latter part of this presentation. Now here during this presentation or the discussion, we are going to do a little subject introduction, then discuss and chats. Remember, this is not a lecture. This is not a one-way speech, right? I want you all to participate with me and talk as much as possible, right? The reason is then only you will understand what is going on. Then we have to share our knowledge, your experience as well as my experience, and have a follow-up engagement. Don't just let this session one single event. So you all should know how to take it forward from this particular moment onwards once the discussion is over. This, I want this to be embedded into your career. If you are going to pursue any path related to safety management or occupational health and safety or whatever the job, right? Now I will give a very small introduction about myself because you all should know to whom you are listening to. I am Dr. Rathnaweera. How to minimize this side screen? Right, okay, got it. Right. I hold a doctorate in strategic planning, sorry. Then I'm a battle tank and armament engineer in the Sri Lankan Army before joining Shell. Then I joined Shell in 2002 and I was the head of HSC, Health, Safety, Environment and the Productivity Management in Shell, Africa and Middle East operations. Then and also from 2016 onwards, I am the managing director of my own business, GISST, that is Global Institute for Safety, Security and Technology Private Limited. Now I'm going to talk to you about the risk. Now there are certain incidents which has happened within this industrial environment, which are very remarkable throughout the history of the mankind. The first one I could remember is the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which occurred in 2010. It's a raw material related or the extraction of raw material related incidents where the oil spill killed nearly millions of innocent seagoing creatures. There's animals, insects, then a lot of human beings, environmental damage. Then there is another incident called DuPont fire. This is a manufacturing related, intermediate product related issue, another industrial disaster. Then there are so many tanker fires, oil tanker fires and the ship fires. We experienced something recently with the Express Pearl. Then storage fire, warehousing and other kind of things. Then consumer related incidents with related to manufacturing. Then chemical spills, we have heard enough and more. Right, just give me a second here. One of my participants in the program here is having a problem. Hey. Sorry dear, as I told you, I am double handling this. Right, now I am going to come to the definition of health and safety management by WHO. WHO is World Health Organization. Remember, dealing with all aspects of health and safety in workplace with a strong focus on primarily prevention of hazards. Remember, many of the safety management here in Sri Lanka, we are very reactive. We let something happen. Then we find the solution to that one. But actually, we have to go for prevention of the hazard. Hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm. Now, as an example, electricity is a hazard. Wearing a glove to get protected from the electricity is a control measure. But if you remove the hazard, there's no requirement to wear the glove. So that is prevention of the hazard. So anyway, when you are going into the industrial sector, your key focus should be on prevention of the hazard, not to find the solutions on how to manage it. Then also it says health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Your workers should be happy. The workers should be free of any mental problems. Mental problems is not getting occurred in their mind. The tensions, problems, issues what they can't discuss of. Those are the things known as mental and social well-being. Remember, when it comes to social well-being, we look beyond the workplace. The person is working to get an income to support his family. He's not a robot. there is a thing called work-life balance. So it is the responsibility of the health and safety management to look into mental and social well-being of the person also. You will see why in a little while. Then occupational health is connected with enabling an individual to perform in a way that causes least harm to their health. So it is the responsibility of the management to ensure whatever the job that is being performed by the worker is being done with the least impact to his health. What is health? Physical, mental, and social well-being of the person. Then health and safety management is promotion of health and safety at work, which is concerned with preventing harm from any incidental hazards arising in the workplace. So remember, when it comes to safety management, it is not setting rules and regulations telling the workers how to do. First, we should understand, prevent harm from any incidental hazards. So first, your health and safety management should be focusing on identification and removing of hazards. That is the first most important thing. Right. Then we'll talk about how we manage our businesses. When we are running our businesses, we have known and unknown risk. Now, very classic example is when COVID came to Sri Lanka in 2020, for many, it was an unknown risk. We didn't know how to manage it. But luckily for me, from 2001 to 2016, I have worked at Shell in global positions. I have handled Ebola, I have handled MERS, I have handled SARS. So I knew what it was. For my clients, we did a business continuity plan and we exercised how to work under COVID situation even before the government identified that there is an issue. On 16th March 2020, I did the business continuity plan exercise for Fonterra, British American Tobacco, and for few of my clients. So that is because it was a known risk for me, and there may be some unknown risk to other people also, right? For others, it was an unknown risk, but for me, it was a known risk. So therefore, since I knew that there was a risk, we had the risk mitigation plan and we had the appetite to take on the risk. So unless you identify the risk beforehand, you can't face it. That's why many businesses collapsed in the face of COVID. But those who were prepared, we never had any issue. Then the tolerance and acceptance. Now, tolerance and acceptance means when the COVID situation comes, I take the COVID as the example, how many people could tolerate it? How many people could accept the problem? There are certain businesses who couldn't tolerate and who couldn't continue with the COVID environment. So that is part of the risk management. Then also we have a requirement of doing our businesses and activities within a legal framework. So then there are IPs, interested parties. Who are the interested parties? When you are running a business, all the people who come across you, your customers, your suppliers, your visitors, all those are interested parties. So now I will quote another example. Now, you know this Yugadhanami power plant issue and the LNG supply one. This is a very long-going discussion. Actually, I am the one who completed the quantitative risk assessment for Yugadhanami power plant as well as for LNG power supply line, although it has not been materialized yet. So I had interested parties, the villagers, suppliers, clients, environmentalists, all these are interested parties. So I have to talk to all of them and come to an agreement how to satisfy all their needs, if not most. Okay, right. Then comes financial aspects, risk management at ALAP level. What is financial aspect means? Financial accepts means how much are you willing to spend on risk management? What is ALAP? As low as reasonably practicable. Remember, not a single risk could be totally removed unless you remove the hazard. Now, I am coming from petroleum industry. LPG, petrochemicals, those are my business. So I can't remove them because if I remove LPG, petrochemicals, there's no Shell business there. So then what we do, we manage the risk while dealing with the hazard in a systematic manner. As such, the risk will be reduced to as low as reasonably practicable limit. So remember, as long as the hazard is there, you can't remove the risk completely. Now, we are coming to the leadership, having discussed all those things. Where the leadership fails. Now, this discussion today is to understand how to become a leader in trend changer. There are certain legal requirements. There are certain moral requirements, social acceptance, and financial reasons. So these are actually reactive focals. You are doing something simply because it was told in the regulation to not to do. You are doing something because your customers, your outsiders, the people around you will accuse you for doing something not correct. Now, as an example, you know, within last couple of weeks, we got to know one of the workers or engineers from Sri Lanka who is working in Pakistan was killed. More than the legal, more than the financial, there were a lot of moral and social impact in that incident. So now, then there is another one, financial, right? So remember, this is how the safety is managed as of now in our country and in many of the other places. We do certain things simply because it is covered in the law, simply because the society will reject us, or simply because we will lose money or we have to spend a lot of money in damage mitigation. This is how the HSC is being told in many of the places, but unfortunately, this HSC leadership is just a gimmick. This is operational leadership. This is not the real leadership. This can be performed by a person who's been nominated to do something. But in my understanding, in my belief, in the belief of Shell, we are not covering only these ones. Now, when you come to legal reasons, there are certain legal laws, rules, regulations that have been in place. Then if you violate any of them, you will be punished. Then on the other hand side, you see moral reasons, as I explained. We don't expect anybody to get injured or hurt. People get agitated when you do that. But very rarely we understand that every employee expects to work in a safe environment and return home safely, unfortunately. We say that is the nature of the job. And we say we will give compensation. You are insured for 1 million rupees, 500,000 for arm or limb. But unfortunately, this compensation cannot bring back arms or limbs. So therefore, we should not expect the impact on interested parties, that is our workers, families, environment, customers. Now, very classic example, I am not talking about politics. Now, these days, litro cylinders are exploding. We are customers of litro. So how they are going to expect to manage their business reputation? So we have to understand how to satisfy all the interested parties and stakeholders. Then also there is a thing called duty of care. Now with litro, this duty of care has gone down to 0 level actually these days. It is obligation. You sell something, you have to ensure the product that you sell, the people who manufacture the product, the people who consume it, and during the recycling process, it is not going to cause any harm. That is called product stewardship. Actually, in global arena, if you violate any of them, there's a thing called negligent act. Under the negligent act, you can get penalized, right? So it is unintentional behavior, but a careless act that results a loss. Now, in litro situation, nobody is planning to kill A, B, or C. But the negligence in the pressure management, it happens like that. Right. Then also, remember, if you skip the negligent act, it will be considered as a breach of human rights or individual rights. Right. Now, there are certain moral demands. When the manufacturer or the business party is not doing it in the proper manner, the suppliers or the interested parties demand for that. How they are demanding certain standards, worldwide responsible accredited production, then the global food safety initiative. So like that, there are certain measures the company or the manufacturer is supposed to take to ensure that he's been managing the business in the proper manner, right? So these are what the customer demand or our interested parties demand when they can't handle anything beyond that. Then the financial reasons, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. There are direct costs which you suffer at the moment of the incident. Then there are indirect costs which the organization suffer after the loss or the impact. So the in general, indirect costs are not insured, so you can't recover. That is going to come as a business loss. So actually, these are the negatives and the positives of traditional safety management. But we have seen, despite having all these things, for a gas leak incident, ammonia incident, where some people died, then the product limited issue, Ratupaswala, there was a huge environmental related issue and some lives also lost. Then the Sampur power station, health and environment issues, it was called off afterwards due to a lot of protest. Then Makumbura Manchi, there was a LPG leak which occurred about 5-6 years ago. Then Architect water tank factory fire, the entire village was evacuated after the incident. So these are some of the things what we have seen even after you manage your business in the traditional manner. Now I am talking about proactive HSC management. This is where the true leaders were born. If you restrict yourself within the book, you are not going to become a true leader of the thing. So first you have the effective HSC management system. Then you have to leadership and the commitment. Remember, it is the leadership and the commitment of the organization, of the HSC management that keep the organization going. So once you have the leadership and the commitment, you set a policy and the strategic objectives to achieve. Then you develop your organizations and allocate responsibilities and resources to do what you expect to do. Then the risk management framework is there. Hazard effect management process. Remember, you understand the risk, then you manage the hazard. You understand the risk and manage the hazard. The moment you manage the hazard, your risk is gone. That is the proactive approach. Then you have your own emergency response planning. Safe system of work. This is a procedure which you develop for yourself, and business plans and procedures to run your business. Then you monitor the performance of your workers, monitor the performance of your organization. There may be certain incidents happening. You investigate those incidents and conduct an audit and do a review. Remember, everything is dropping down from the leadership and the commitment. This is where your leadership is important. Leadership at every level, starting from the senior management right down to the floor level. So leadership is not only the managing director or the general manager. Leadership is a flow. It's the way of managing the work from top to bottom. Now I'm going to show you all some key HSC management framework components. Now here, I have marked it in red from the previous slide. The same slide like earlier, but certain things are in red. This is where your leadership is going to focus on. Now, to have this kind of a proper leadership and the commitment from the leaders to manage the safety in proactive manner, he should develop a policy. Policy is something that you can't break. You have to live within that policy. Then the strategic objectives, what you are going to achieve to succeed in this policy. Then you have to develop an organization to support that, allocate responsibilities and allocate resources. Here in Sri Lanka, most of the time where we go wrong is you allocate the responsibility, but doesn't provide the required organization and the resources. The leadership will only focus on getting the product out, productivity, making profits, but not about the safety management and well-being of the people. Now, why should we manage HSC? Health, safety, and environment. Remember, the proper management of health and safety will ensure business conducted in safe, healthy environment and in responsible manner. Now, if I take my own personal examples, I worked in Sri Lanka Shell Gas Lanka Limited for 4 years. Within this entire 4 years, we have never had any problem, any injury or anything. So it will allow the company to continue with our work without any interruption, without any injuries. So actually, it is generating a lot of profits. Why? Business is going to continue for years and years without any incident. So for that, we have to have the commitment from the leaders and giving required support, moral support, as well as the resources, starting from the senior management right down to the levels at every place. So when you're developing a system, the most important thing is strong and active leadership. Now I will tell you little later how this strong and active leadership comes also. Then when you are developing the safety management system, it is the active leadership or the strong leadership. Talk to your workers, because the workers are operating on the ground level. They may have problems. They are the people who are managing problems. So unless you ask from the worker how we are going to do this, how we are going to manage it safely, your system is not going to work. Then risk assessment and review. Talk to the workers and check with them. How do you perform this job? What difficulties have you faced? What is your suggestion? How can we improve? Where in Sri Lanka goes wrong is a person sitting in the office developer system and shove it down the throat of the workers. Workers don't know what it is about, how it is being developed, and they're trying to follow it. Still, we are failing. So remember, there's a risk assessment and review to know whether your system is correct. Then from the management side, you're supposed to do plan, do, check, act, PDCA. This is a never-ending cycle. You planning to do your work, doing it as you planned, check whether it is working properly. If not, act immediately and change your plan. This also something we have not seen in Sri Lanka. The system standards, procedures we develop sit in the system for years and years to come. Now, very classic example is, yesterday evening, again, I'm taking the Litro example. The CEO says, we are starting the production from tomorrow and we will issue compliant cylinders into the market, which means they have been releasing non-compliant products into the market for all these days. Why? They didn't had the plan, do, check, act cycle. Had they done or had they enforced plan, do, check, act system, this problem wouldn't have gone this far, right? Now let's see what really causes accidents. Quality of the equipment, including the design of your process. Then rules and regulations, what you are said to follow. Then training and awareness. The people has to be competent. Right now, that is what I am doing. I'm a PhD holder and I'm climbing a tower with workers in a little while. I have to demonstrate that I know my stuff and I want to see that they do the right thing. No matter how good your equipment are, what rules say, or how well you were trained, you still can make a mistake. Now let's see why people make mistakes. Unless you understand, we can't do that. Remember, do not become a revolutionist. You can't say, okay, I am the new manager. I'm going to work from tomorrow. This is what I'm going to do. You can't launch a revolution with your workers. What you're supposed to do is evolution with time. The people has to change not in the way they work. The people has to change from the way they think, way they believe. Generating the right mindset and attitude is the key for this one. Okay. So how we are going to generate the right mindset and attitude? This is a bit of a long journey. It is not easy. HSC culture, your beliefs, your behaviors, your attitudes towards health, safety, and environment. Why should someone be work in a safer manner? Why should someone consider about the environment? So we have to generate these ideas in the mindset of the people. So as WHO stated, workplace well-being relates to all aspects of working life and not just working safe under strict rules. Here in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, we are becoming a ruled, governed country, ruled, governed environment. That is not what we need. Quality and safety of the physical environment is being managed. How workers feel about their work, we don't bother about it. Their working environment, we don't bother. The climate and the work organization, we don't bother. We are only bothering about productivity and profits. This is where we are going wrong. Now, the leadership is giving control where it is due. Generally, when a person is committing a mistake, we have to understand where is the intention, where is the plan. Then individuals' perceptions and beliefs. How and why the person opted to commit a mistake. This is coming from the man-made environment. Your work organization, your family, your friends, your management, colleagues, regulators. So actually, the revolution is you are just taking the regulation and trying to govern the workers. Evolution is you are changing the man-made environment, which is onto the left-hand side of my slide. When the man-made environment is being changed, automatically a person will change. So remember, the leadership is not taking a stick and going behind workers, but the leadership is trying and changing the man-made environment. So the workers will change, your environment will change automatically. People will get more motivated. People will start thinking in safer manner, right? So you need not to go behind with this each and every worker with a stick and say, you do this, there's a penalty. You don't do this, there's a penalty. You do this, you're out of your job. No, you can't do that. That is wrong. That is reactive management of safety. Now, the true leaders never go behind people, but will be followed by others. People will come to you automatically. Why? You are not enforcing anything on them. For that, you have to understand the basics. What are the understanding the basics means? The basic requirements of your workers, basic attitudes, basic influences. So if you know this, you have to follow this. Be a soldier before becoming a commander, which means before you tell something to your workers, you should be a master of that. So therefore, young children, remember, you will get graduated very soon. Once you go to the your workplace, maybe during your implant training, or maybe even after doing any health and safety related program, don't ever get ready to change anything. You can't. Why? You have to understand not only the theoretical part. What is the theoretical part? Your graduation is theory. Your implant training, although it is practical, still it is theory. So you have to be a soldier. What is the soldier? The people whom you are going to supervise, they are performing certain tasks. Learn that. If you are going into a manufacturing plant, learn how each and every machine is being operated. Then only you will know what difficulties those people those people will feel facing, coming under influence of certain situations. You have to understand them. Maybe the equipment what they are using is not proper. Maybe the lunch break given to them is not proper. Maybe they have certain psychological issues which you don't even consider as important. No, you have to. Right now, when I say be a soldier before becoming a commander, actually I have been working in the army for 14 years. Right, I am a commander, and I used to call all my soldiers as Puta. Even now, I say Puta. Why Puta? I'm like a father to them. When you are in the battlefield, there's nobody else to look after them. It is me who is giving instructions. But if I am putting someone else's life in danger due to my poor instructions, I am committing a murder. I can't do that. So therefore, even when we are becoming officers, our training program is 2 years, and we follow 3 months of soldiers training. We get deployed with soldiers to understand how our future putas are going to work. Then only you feel like giving proper commands and instructions to them. So same thing applying here. Now I know many situations where senior managers going and telling workers, don't do it like that, you have to be quick, do it better. There are a few situations where the worker got out from his seat and says, sir, they were embarrassed. So remember, before you give any instructions to your fellow workers, your colleagues, remember still you are in the path of learning. So you should know how to do the job. If they say they can't do it better, you should be able to demonstrate it. If you can't demonstrate it, don't utter a single word. you're still not qualified enough. Then try to be a small part of the solution than a big part of the problem. Why I say this? Many of the places, the safety is a failure in this country. Why? Safety manager always goes and say, stop doing it. You are doing it in an illegal manner. You are not doing it in the right manner. This is unsafe, and that's it. He never say how to do it rightly, how to do it in the correct manner. So if you know A to Z of what your workers are doing, how to do that job, when they have a problem with your higher intellectual capacity, higher theoretical knowledge, you should be able to be a small part of the solution. Discuss it with workers. Otherwise, what will happen? Everyone will say, safety manager, that is it. And you're a big part of the problem. That is why safety is not been entertained in this country. That's why safety managers are not been regarded with high respect also. Motivate subordinates than ordering. You have to always encourage them. Try and develop a passion in their job. Whatever they do. Don't give instructions. Don't give orders. Don't become a policeman in front of them. Don't ever say, my manager, no, you can't do that. Find what is going wrong rather than who's doing wrong. People, when they make mistakes, understand that there's a fact. One of the controls has failed. That's why worker is doing the wrong thing. So understand which control failed. Workers are doing wrong things, so workers are getting injured because when you do your hazard management or hazard analysis, you didn't put a proper control on that hazard. So worker getting injured is not his negligence, the failure from the management, failure of the person who did the hazard effect management. So we have to understand where it went wrong and fix it. Gain respect by respecting others. Remember, respect is something that you have to earn. Simply because you are going to become assistant manager, senior executive, general manager, director, no, you can't gain the respect. You gain the respect from community to community, group to group. If you are a good boxer, you will gain the respect in that, irrespective how bad you are in your work. If you are good in speech, irrespective of how bad you are in your work, you will gain respect within that community. But remember, your whole purpose of this session is about the leadership. So if you want to get respected, first learn to respect, how to respect others, how to encourage others, how to motivate others. Automatically, you will be the God for them. But it is not a short-term thing. It may take 5 years, 10 years, maybe 15 years. Right. So that is the end of my discussion or what I have to present. Right. I am opening the floor for discussion. Actually, I wanted to leave a little bit of more time for the discussion. Originally, we planned only for 15 minutes. Now I have given you all 20 minutes. Please take the screen from me and the moderator can take over.
Thank you, sir. So now the time is for Q&A session. If you
Please
have
take
any
off my
question,
screen.
if you have any question, you can directly ask from the sir by unmuting your mic, or else you can put your question to the chat box to clarify your doubts.
Yeah, I prefer if you take the questions and flash it on to me, because actually as I told you, I'm working outside. That's why I'm wearing a hat also. The sunshine is everywhere, right? So I can't see my screen clearly, right? So you are Tanisha, right? Right. You take the question and throw it to me. I can't see my screen. Sunshine is everywhere. You can see even actually I'm getting a little bit of a shade inside my car.
There is a question from participant. Is it mean that safety regulations should be implemented even in school syllabus more deeply than before?
Definitely, yes. Definitely. Safety is a culture. It's a mindset. Right now, you see all of you are in maybe early 20s. right? You see how your dads and mama are driving, how the bus drivers are driving, right? We set the bad example right up to or right until the topic safety is been discussed. You should be able to spot mistakes even at your home front. That is the most important thing, right? If you can use that kind of an attitude, the safety will get embedded into yourself, within yourself. Okay, so now actually when I worked a very long time abroad, and I got the opportunity a couple of times to get my children also along with me. When they were schooling in Amsterdam, at that time, my daughter was only 12 years and my son was 15 years. My son asked from me, what is your safety policy? My daughter asked from me, Tati, I want to check your helmet. Right? So that is the level of understanding or introduction they got into this subject. Unfortunately, here in Sri Lanka, I have conducted school audits, and I am the one who did the fire risk assessment for Peradeniya University. It's very sad. The things are not happening in the right way. We are not taking it with the right spirit. We are in an era where we consider the people who violate regulations as heroes. That is wrong. The safety mindset should be part of our culture. It should be part of our education. Your suggestion is 100% correct.
Then there is another question. Can we state safety practitioner in our CV as a qualification?
No, it is not. The reason is this is a very wrong, actually it's a very valid question. This is it's very much of a myth and a wrong belief. Because actually what you are studying is the theoretical component of the safety. When it comes to safety practitioner, you are becoming an expert of doing something. Now, say as an example, I can say without any fear, I am a safety practitioner in tower climbing and rescue. When you say safety practitioner, it's very much focused. And I can see one of your senior members, Zara Mazuk, is there. I know her very well, right? She's a safety practitioner in electrical safety. So when you say safety practitioner, it's a very focused one. So that is something which you have to develop one by one. I am a safety practitioner in road safety because I am representing Royal Society for Prevention of Accidents, and I am the Global Gold Award winner in Fleet Safety in 2018 and the Global Silver Award winner in 2018 on Occupational Safety and Health. So I can say very proudly, yes, I am a safety practitioner in road safety. I am a safety practitioner in chemical hazard analysis. So like that, you have to master that. Unless you have that tag, you are a safety executive, general safety. Okay?
Then, so there is another question also. Are there any specific safety guidelines where richest countries following different than our country?
Yeah, actually, dear, it is not the safety guideline. If you are following the very basic requirements set by WHO and ILO, that is World Health Organization and International Labour Organization, that is more than enough. Only problem what I see here in Sri Lanka is our enforcement is extremely poor. Extremely poor. We are very, very, very reactive. I will tell you a very classic example of this. Now I mentioned you about the Ruhuna gas leak incident. Right now, Ruhuna, there was a factory, they were producing latex rubber and they were using ammonia related or ammonia connected liquid. When this liquid came into a storage tank, it was emitting ammonia. So these workers, one of the workers got intoxicated by this ammonia, or he was poisoned and he fell into the tank. Another person saw he's falling. Another man jumped into the tank to rescue the person. He also went unconscious. Third person went, fourth person went, fifth person also went. Now, the government launched an investigation and they found the management of the factory is at fault. Third-degree murder. But my takeaway is little different. Now, you know, in every factory, every business, before they start operating, they have to get the business license. To get the business license, they talk to the Ministry of Industries, Ministry of Labor. Then a factory inspector comes, he check the process, he check the factory and say, this is how you're supposed to run the business. He give all the control measures required. Then annually, a factory inspector comes to verify whether those things are still in place, your workers are safe. Now, this particular factory at Ruhuna has been visited by the factory inspectors for last 11 years. And in the entire 11 years, they have been doing the same thing. Nothing has changed. But when an incident happened, they say the factory owners and the management is set wrong. No, the legal framework of this country. What is that factory inspector came and inspected? How did he say this place is safe to operate? He would have stopped it then and there before someone falling into that. So our issue is not with the standard, our mentality, attitude, and the implementation. Otherwise, the basic things are more than enough if you are doing it in the right manner.
Sir, our one of participants would like to clarify that how to be recognized as safety manager. Are there any certification to acquire that?
Yeah, there are. See, remember, dear, when you are doing these certifications and everything, all those things are paper-based. Right now, actually, as I mentioned you earlier, I am standing next to a dialogue tower, which is nearly 40 meters tall. Now, a lot of technicians are here. They are writing their question paper as of now, right, on how to do the tower climbing, how to assess the risk, and how to do the rescue if there's any requirement. Unfortunately, for all these about 15 years, ever since this tower has been erected, some engineers has been approving these jobs here. Yesterday, I had a discussion with the engineers. Can any of you climb this tower? No. But they are holding master's degrees in electrical engineering, construction engineering, telecommunication engineering, everything. So remember, don't focus yourself only to paper-based qualifications. Because if you fall from this tower, all the master's degrees, PhDs, and everything what you have gathered is of no use. Safety is not a white-collar job. If you, any one of you all are thinking of trying to do something while sitting in the office, is utter failure. Even as of now, the Dialogue and Huawei has given the approval to do this work. I'm not doing it because it's not safe. I'm still waiting for them to come and make this site safe. When I call them and tell, they say, okay, is there a problem like that? We never knew. So that is the traditional way of paper-based safety. No, you have to put your grounds on feet. You can have any amount of paper-based qualification, but if you want to get recognized, you have to be a person who has been heard and seen, right? That is the reputation which I have developed. That's why while holding a PhD, in another couple of minutes time, I am ready to climb the rope, climb the tower. This is my bunch of ropes and my helmet. I'm having my helmet with me. So paper-based qualification is good, but every time you get a paper-based qualification, don't go for another paper-based one. Try to put that paper-based knowledge into practice and become a safety practitioner, as I mentioned earlier, by doing something important within a specific selected field. Otherwise, you can have hundreds of qualifications. You may require a wheelbarrow or a small van to carry your certificates, but is of no use. It's like learning to swimming online.
It seems that there are no many questions from the participants. Next, we would like to give our gratitude to our guest speaker. Dear sir, please accept our token of appreciation.
Thank you so much.
Now we have come to the end of the session. Before that, to deliver the vote of thanks, I cordially invite Mr. Vidura Vijayakon, Vice Chairman of Industrial Application Society.
I think I'm audible. So yeah, thank you, Anja. So I think at about 1 hour, I think participant got a clear idea about how to be a good leader with industrial safety environment. So I must give my thanks to especially Dr. Rohitha Rathnaweera, our special guest in today's session. So thank you for your valuable information input, and also special thanks to Dr. Chandana B. Pereira, our advisor of Industrial Application Society, IEEE University of Ruhuna Student Branch, and also to our organizing committee members and moderator and everyone who have helped us to succeed this event. I must ensure that everybody gets the credit for their utmost effort. So yeah, thank you. Over to you, Anja.
Thank you, Mr. Vidura. I would like to request you all to turn on your camera to have a group photo.
Okay. Sarah, this is for you.
Thank you, sir.
It looks like majority of your members are still in their pajamas.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you did a wonderful job. It's good to organize this session with you. Very well.
Thanks.
I think the photo has taken.
Right. Okay. Thanks. It's time up for me also. Thank you so much, Vidura, for your initiative. Right. If you require anything, even in the future, right, of course, you have to understand that I'm extremely busy character. But whenever there is an opportunity for me to help someone to give a little bit of advice, actually, even at CINEC, I'm conducting classes. I am not taking even a single penny from them. Whatever the lecturer fee that they pay me, I am giving them back to the students as an award. Right. So teaching is my pleasure. If I can give something to think of you all for the future and change your behavior, right? Don't get guided by the standards that are within this country. Within this country, we are going downhill, right? For all of you all, my personal message, try and go outside of this country whenever possible. Have that in your mind, right? The future is there. Not that I don't love my country. I did. That's why I worked for 14 years in the army. I'm a battle tank engineer. I was shot 3 times. I'm having shot on my hand, on my leg, and a pass-through shot. But now my opinion is, you have the time, you have your future with you. Do your best. Make your good decision. Okay? Right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. With that, we are going to mark the end of our program as this. We will meet with another interesting program in near future. Have a great day. Thank you.